belongs, they speak your name with reverence and regret, for none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. To pay us what you taught we changed, places strange and a world you gave to bug and beast, as they had never dreamed. Analogy of harnessed, unknown creature. Okay, here we go. I am already experienced with this game. I was just going to play through because I kind of felt like it, you know? It's not really much to talk about. This is kind of the early point of the game. I don't think that this part even has a map and like music, just ambient. Creator credits. Not really much to talk about until we get to. Well, you'll see. This is how we learn how to heal. Just focusing. Flying minis in this game, flying enemies in this game are not always my favorite. The revenge flies are. Well then. Already not doing too bad in terms of geo. Honestly, if you're smart with it, you shouldn't really, like, ever run out of money in this game. Get back here, stupid noisy. It's gone. I don't know, but like what I was just showing it off, it's temporary HP that you can use to absorb hits. Now you might be thinking, how do I cross this? Oh. Okay, maybe that's not the best example. You can parry off, you can like pogo off of the spikes. This is our first charm. Charms like modified, like our modifications that you can equip with us within a certain limit. Now you can equip. There you go. Well, you can equip more than your charms past your notch limit. It has consequences. Pause the video if you wanted to read that text, by the way. Consequences being you take double damage, which, I mean, I guess if you're doing some of the harder difficulties in the boss rush modes, it doesn't even matter, given that they are already dealing lethal damage in single shots. But this was the game's tutorial, so skip that now. Reference to the last and only civilization, the Eternal Kingdom Holonest. I wouldn't exactly call it eternal. It's not the best of states. Also, if you're thinking, no, there's fall damage is not a thing in this game. I don't think there's any Metroidvanias with fall damage is a thing now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Traveler, I'm afraid there's only me left at Alpha, and our town is fallen quiet, you see. The other residents, they've all disappeared, headed down that mountain one by one to the caverns below. Used to be there was a great kingdom beneath our town. It's long since it fell to ruin, yet it still draws folks into the depths. All the glory and light and the darkness seems to promise all things. I'm sure you too seek the dreams down there. Watch well, it's the sickly air that fills the place. Creatures turn mad, travelers are robbed of their memories. Perhaps dreams aren't such a good thing, after all. Well, you're right about the dreams part, Azardog. We're the Fallen. When we're on critical HP, we deal an increased amount of damage. I'm not quite sure the multiplier, but it's more. It doesn't hurt to have it equipped, so I mean. This was the temple we saw in the intro cutscene. I'm not going to be talking in the cutscenes, by the way. Temple of the Black Egg. I'm not the like scholar on this game's lore, but anyways, here's hello there. How delighted to meet another traveler on these forgotten roads. You're a short one, but you have a strong look about you. I'm Coral. I have something of an obsession with uncharted places. This ancient kingdom holds many fascinating mysteries, and one of the most intriguing of them is standing right before us. A great stone egg laying in the corpse of an ancient kingdom. This egg it is warm. It certainly gives off a unique air. Can it be opened? There are strange marks all over it. I do so love a mystery, and who knows whatever marvels lie deep even below us. Coral's nice. I like him. Although, while on the subject of lore, if you notice the mask he's wearing atop his head and one of the symbols on the door, well, I'll let you draw your own conclusions. We'll get there in time. This game's plot is really good. It's hard to figure out, kind of convoluted in kind of the lore that we do know and that you can figure out. It's nice. Now do not be intimidated. What I'm about to do is not exactly hard, it's just this guy deals a lot of damage. Although he telegraphs his attacks very predictably, much like a lot of this game's enemies, if you know their attacks, it gets easier. There we go. Now that's a grub. There's... I forgot the amount. It's... I think... Can't be 50. I think it's somewhere around that number, though. Anyways, there's a certain number of them. For each one of them, you get a small reward by going to an NPC we'll see in a bit. Anyways, speaking of NPCs, here's... well, one of my favorites. This is Mila. Bury my father with his eyes shut tight. Bury my sisters 2 by 2. And then when you're done, bury me too. It's one of my favorites. We can sing something else if you'd like. You start singing and I'll join you. I bet you have a beautiful singing voice. So what are you doing here? If you came to get wealthy, just look around you. The mines are still bursting with riches. There's plenty for everyone. Just grab a pick and join in. Our character is canonically mute. That should be something that I should establish. Now we can go down here, but it's locked for the time being. Just gonna point that out. Now later on, Soul will be used for more than just healing, but right now it's purely to use focus. Weeping Husk. Husks always give me trouble when it comes to going up in the journal later on. Fly in this room. Yes, there is. We could probably use that. We'll reach the ground. Come over here, you. I'm gonna use a platform. Go down here. I'll lure you around. That didn't work. That's unfortunate. We'll come back here later, though. We don't have the movement for the intended method of grabbing that grub. You could probably do that. Though I don't have the patience to go sit at a bench and make that bench fly respawn. Anyway, this is the room that we ignored earlier to the left of the opening of the Forgotten Crossroads. And through here is where we find the Grubfather. The NPC rewards us for finding all of his kids. Small amount of money is the first reward, but there's plenty more to where that come from. And they get increasingly more generous. And it's well worth it. I mean, the charm that they give at the end is exactly best, but need all charms to get a bonus, so yeah. This is Cornifer. He sells us our maps. Ah, hello there. Come down to explore these beautiful old ruins. Don't mind me. I've a fondness for exploring myself. Getting lost and finding your way again is a pleasure like no other. We're exquisitely lucky, you and I. I'm a cartographer by trade and working on mapping this area out right now. Why? Would you like to buy a copy of my work so far? Yes, I would. They're not exactly the most detailed, but later on you can update them yourself. A map can be a useful thing, but it alone won't show you where you are. If you're none ahead for directions, I suggest purchasing a compass for my wife, Asalta. She's just now opening up our new map shop in Dirtmouth, selling all sorts of useful things and to wanderers like yourself. She'll even sell some of my old maps from time to time. I pop back to see her whenever I finish mapping an area. She's always so excited to see me. By the way, that's a Gome. It's, you can't kill it. Like, you can't. It's really more of a stage hazard than it is an enemy. There are creatures like that later on as well. I forgot about that. Astrid Mothers spawn enemies on death that... Well, they're really more so annoying with how hard they are to hit. That's grub number 2. Now, if you notice, there's a crack in the acid. Oh, circle path. We can't do that yet. It grab onto the wall, but that I'm not exactly a speedrunner. This is more of a casual playthrough. Like I'm gonna be doing a lot, not everything though. I don't have patience for the Pantheons. Or White Defender now that I think about it. They've only ever done Path of Pain once, and, well, it's called that for a reason. Here we have our first enemy arena. These aren't exactly a common thing, but you only ever have to clear them out one time. Right now, these are some of our first projectile enemies, the Asperids. It's simple enough. So I can see how a new time player could die there. This is a hot spring. Sitting in the water will heal and replenish your soul. And typically there is a bench, though I can think of, I don't quite recall if every of them all of the hot springs have a bench. I think one of them might not. Sitting at a bench also respawns any enemies you have killed. So that's something to say, but it heals you, and you're gonna want to use them if you're in a pinch. They're also a means of saving your game, so there's that too. That's a hard jump. I usually don't make it. Now I could go up and do some things, but I'd rather continue going to the right. This is a soul totem. You can strike them to replenish your soul reserves, but they run out. And sleeping at a bench will replenish them, but it's usually benches and soul totems aren't that close together. It's not that worth it to farm, except because you can get soul off of enemies. Speaking of enemies, this is our first boss, the Gru's Mother. She doesn't have any form of projectiles, it's mostly just charging at you. Doing a wall dash. She's rather simple. However, when she dies... yeah, that's kind of gross. That's a place for later. Going through here. This is Sly. I forgot to read the dialogue. I guess you can pause it. I see the old village. What a strange thing to have led me down here. If you hadn't followed me, I don't think I would have ever awoken. I'm Sly. Usually I live an unfed life up in Depth. The air on these ruins doesn't agree with me, so I'd best be getting back. If you'd return above, come to see me. I'm probably not the friendliest face left there, but I can thank you probably for your good deed. I don't think I did that correctly. Shit, I think we'll go up until the end of the crossroads, and then I'll end the stream. This is a tram. We can't use it yet. If I recall correctly, this way is for grub, so... Yep. Just like with Fury of the Fallen, we're gonna have to pogo off of spikes. I think this is actually one of the places that teaches you can do this. If I could do it correctly. You are free now. These are Husk Warriors. They're a bit more complicated enemies that they're able to block your attacks, but they're nothing too hard. Anyways, going up through here, we'll just open the gate here. And this is a dark area. We don't have the Loomlight Lantern yet, so that's not for right now. We go downward. Figure out how the map is interconnected. This is the path up that we saw earlier. This is a stag station. This is your traditional means of fast travel. Control machine simple with a symbol of stag. So Geo, yes. Typically stag stations cost money, though some of them don't. This will let us warp back into it now. Greetings, little one. It has been an age since I last heard the ringing of a station bell. It echoed down the Sagway and called me to you. I've grown stiff and tired over these many years and forgotten much, but the sound of the bell will always call me back. These stagways stretch the depths of Holness. If you want to travel them, hail me in the platform and I will take you where you need to go. This is the last stag. The stag system was essentially Hollow Knight, but it, much like the kingdom, has fallen into ruins. I mean, it's still partially functional, but he wasn't the only one. Oh, what a turn! A shopkeeper's come up. Home just wandered back in. I'd hope for Grand Tales this time below, but he seems to remember almost nothing. Maybe it was all too much for him. If you're interested in wares, watch out. He drives a hard bargain, that one. No competition, that's the problem. It's bad for the market, not that he's complaining. Yes, lies. Hello, I know we'd meet again. How do you like my cozy little store? I've made myself quite comfortable here, selling old trinkets to travelers like yourself. Playing a trip below, I have several items that may improve your chance to survive. We can't afford much of this yet. We'll buy it at a later date, but for right now, we want some of the mapping supplies from Cornifer's wife that we mentioned earlier. Come to buy a map? To buy a map, you? It's really my husband you should be dealing with, but what a surprise, he's headed down below. He'll pop back occasionally to deliver new maps from the store, but I do wish he'd spend more time up here. Not much interested in retail myself. Now let's see what let's see what's here for me to sell. We're gonna buy the quill. I can decently read maps, so a wayward compass isn't necessary. If you're new to this game and not good at, well, reading or being able to decipher maps, at least recognize having a spatial awareness, I'd say that's almost necessary. Back to the crossroads we go. We still have things to do. Yeah, we still have a path that we have yet to explore. And that's gonna lead to our first proper boss. Hello to the viewers, Slug God. It's just a casual playthrough, really, and I'm going to be uploading it in short segments, nothing too long. Well, I'm going to be ending once we get to the next area. Are you at all familiar with this game? We can't do that area up there yet. We don't have the proper ways to get through that spike corridor. And here we have our first boss. False Knight. Now something interesting is I think I need to get to a second phase. Give it a moment. Now, False Knight is a species in Holland referred to as maggot, typically seen below the population. If you notice that burst, we can now break out. In spite of being the first boss, False Knight is technically optional. I say technically optional. You can get, what he drops isn't necessary. It is useful though, so we're gonna be using it. Also, fair warning: when you strike with False Knight's armor, he won't drop soul to heal from. So that's an issue. And thus the end of False Knight. And he drops us the City Crest. Now if we back away for a moment, wait for the off-screen for it to happen. It'll happen eventually. Up, there it goes. The mace was actually a bug the whole time. I just think that's cool, a neat little detail for those who don't be interested. Also, no, Slug God, this is not my first playthrough. I have a save file that went all the way to Godhome at 108%. This I don't complete anything. I'm decently versed in this game. I'm not the best player. This is just more of a casual thing for me. And here we have the ancient mound of our friend the snail shaman. Oh, what is creeping out in the darkness? My, you're looking quite grim. A strange empty face and a wicked-looking weapon. Something important has drawn you down to Hollis Quest, but I won't ask. What? Perhaps the reason you found me is because you need my help. Say no more, friend. I'm going to give you a gift, a nasty little spell of my own creation. It's just the perfect for a little one like you. And now we have the Vengeful Spirit. This is what I meant when this is what I was talking about when I said soul would not be the only thing, well, okay, I speak over my words. Oh, you've woken at last. I apologize. Perhaps I should have warned you about the power of the spell. I was watching over you as you slept, but seemed to have slipped my way myself. Now we're awake. I was hoping rather you would do me a small favor. Now as repayment for a gift, of course. Not as repayment for a gift, of course, simply because we're now friends. You see, a horde, great beast, has made its a home in the heart of my temple. Such disrespect. I would be grateful if you were to venture deeper and slay it for me. As a hardy creature with your new power, you're more than a match for it. Good luck with a small favor, my friend. Now, unlike the false knight, the vengeful spirit is required for progression. It's also useful for some speedrunning skips. Although I'm not going to be doing too many of those. Maybe a few. 5 times 10. I'm not quite sure what you mean. There's like God that what you mean is not quite clear. Are you talking about the aspect ratio that I display at? Because currently I'm playing on a PC monitor and not, well, a regular TV. But none of the life seeds ran away. That's sometimes a problem. And here we have the Elder Balder. Your only means of damaging it are through magic, as it will curl up if you attempt to get into melee range. Not jumping down straight away will get a soul catcher, gaining increased souls from enemies killed. Oh, so it's done then. You've slain the beast. The poor thing, it must have been terrified of you. You used to be quite docile, but the rancid air in these caverns filled it with some kind of ancient rage. Still, you did what you had to be done. You have my gratitude, of course. We both know you wouldn't have made it through without the spell of mine. Look, the gate between us has been lifted. I'm sure you're eager to move on. Farewell and have faith. Wherever you are seeking, it will find you. Farewell, Snail Shaman. Sorry I missed you. If you're feeling lost, why not pop up to your store in Dreamnest and purchase a map in the area available now for an excellent price. Yeah, eventually Cornifer will leave an area if you do not buy the map within a certain period of time. Typically for an increased price than from if you were to find him out in the area that you would need the map. Although the only map I can think of that usually misses Western Grounds, I don't think you ever actually found Western Grounds, at least not from any playthrough I've done. Anyways, we're gonna visit Grubfather, get some of our rewards for saving some of his kids from those jars. Yep, that's a decent chunk of change, though the reward will get gradually better. The Pilgrim's Way travels as follows: descend through the verdant wilds and fungal groves to the city at the Kingdom's Heart. They all there all wishes shall be granted and all truths revealed. Anyways, this is what I meant when I said Vengeful Spirit was required for progression, and you cannot gain access to the next area without it. And this is Green Path. Quite a visual change from the Crossroads, but I enjoy it. The music's nice as well. Usually if you're not fast enough, those are hard to hit. Volatile moss can explode upon death. You should be careful of that. Regular Mothkin don't do so much. They're essentially just like husk bullies with a different coat of paint. I sent to about a lot of enemies actually, now that I think about it. This is a man-eat, not man-eat, fool-eater. They'll spring from the ground when you walk over them, but they're typically easy to avoid if you know what to look out for. These are moss creeps. They're cute. Not much of a threat. And this is where we're going to be ending off now, as this is the first save point within Green Path. For now, though, farewell.